Yeah, we're on. Look
That's
at us.
great.
Professional fade out.
So we're here with Jason Quitt here from thecrystalsun.com. Jason, we have so much great stuff that we could talk about here. So, but you wanted to, we mentioned the 2012 thing. You wanted to talk about that a little bit? Some insights about that?
Absolutely. See, about, I think it was around Christmas last year, so 2010, around December, there was like these alignments of the moon. And it was supposed to be very, very special. And like that night I was out there looking at, you know when the moon gets really red and there was this eclipse in December, I was looking at the moon and it kind of just like disappeared. It turned into this portal. And all these sacred geometry symbols started to spin out of it. And I saw all these like silver cords and red energy streams come right down through the moon, wrap all around me. And I'm trying to figure out what is going on here. Like what just happened? And the messages that we were getting was that this was the start of this progression of energies that are coming to the planet for 2012 and beyond, because it goes even further than 2012. Mm-hmm. And people talk about the fifth dimension or the fifth dimensional energies being anchored on the planet. Well, those silver cords coming through those portals were fifth dimensional energy cords. So there's many people right now just walking around and having these things already connected to them. So the other messages that I got was this November, coming up just in a couple months, there's going to be another big energetic shift on the planet as well. So, you know, this is, I think, why I'm here as well and talking about the Egyptian postures of power and healing oneself, because it's through healing oneself, it's through letting go of energies that we expand ourselves, we strengthen ourselves, and we start to connect our energies to these universal forces. So, you know, we're built to heal, but because we kind of live in this society, this belief system, this kind of false reality consciousness, we're really behind in where we should actually be. So these energies are really progressing us and pushing us forward. Yeah.
Okay, so now, beyond what's going to happen in November or anything else, let's go back 3,000 to 5,000 years and talk about the Egyptians for just a second. Is this the same belief systems that were inherent 3,000 to 5,000 years ago?
Yes.
And did they see the same sort of strings and energies and pulses like that? And were they documented back then?
Yes.
Okay.
Back in Egypt, let's even go back 4,000 to 6,000 years.
Sure.
The sun itself, the actual sun, had a different energy to it than it is today.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So there was a different frequency, there was a different consciousness that was on the planet at the time. And they did come. They did, you were talking about maybe they come from Atlantean or previously. Before that, there has been a steady stream of knowledge that's slowly been lost over time. And they knew all about this stuff. They knew about all the great shifts. They were very into the star systems. You know, even the pyramids and the shafts of the pyramids were set to very, very specific star systems. Because in certain times and certain shifts, there will be an alignment with those pyramids, and the energies would come through the pyramids, and it would resonate through the pyramids out onto the planetary grids. So they were highly, highly advanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know we might look like we're skeptical and stuff like that, but part of it is that we have to make jokes about stuff.
Hey,
But we
perfect.
believe everything about this stuff, and we know a lot about it. So let's get right into it. Okay, so when you look at the Egyptian culture, the Old Kingdom was the most advanced.
Yes.
And each kingdom subsequent has been less advanced, right?
Yes.
And so, if you look at that, and you could make the argument that civilization is devolving from whatever the peak of the Atlantean was. But are we going to turn that around, or is it, are we on a downward spiral, or are we going to turn it?
There's always up and down cycles, just like the rise and fall of civilizations. We'll always have a high peak, and then we'll always go low. It'll always happen like that. If you look back in ancient Egypt and Atlantis, they actually took a lot of that knowledge from Atlantis, Lemuria, and all those early cultures, and they built from it. Now, the Old Kingdom, there was a vast amount of knowledge there that was lost over time, And then when we got to, let's say, the newer kingdoms, the knowledge was so watered down that they've kind of lost sight of what was important. And then you had lots of wars. You know, they were believing in many, many different gods. There was like sects for each god that there was.
Sex?
Groups.
What?
Now we're listening.
Sects.
Sex?
Sects.
Oh, sex.
Yes.
S-E-C-T-S.
Yes.
I get it.
Sects.
Okay.
Yes.
Because, like, you have to
Don't look at
understand,
me.
when it started out, like, there was, you know, one universal force or one god, and then the
Right.
gods were the archetypes of the laws that the universe represented.
Right.
So it was a whole system in its entirety. But by the time it got watered down, it's like people would just believe in, let's say, one god. If you were born into the family of a particular god, like that's the god you prayed to.
Right.
And then when Akhenaten came back, he tried to change it. He tried to say, look, it's not right. There's one god, and everything falls under that. And that's why there was even more wars, and you know, he had to go out in exile and things
Because
like that.
he actually kind of disrupted the power structure.
That's
right.
right.
It ran into a lot of
Because things were
resistance.
set up for so long
Yeah.
and ingrained in the families that live there that you come in and say, no, you're doing it wrong, that's not right. It's, you know, it's a very extreme point of view, even though he was right trying to bring back the original knowledge.
Okay, so now how did you get into this? Because
I was hit over the head with this. I didn't ask for any of this stuff. And, you know, I keep telling people I'm the most normal guy you'll ever meet. And, you know, had a real job, went to school, and just over the course of a year, just had all these spiritual experiences starting to happen to me. And I couldn't stop it. You know, I wasn't spiritual, I wasn't religious.
Right.
I didn't know what was happening to me, but I started, you know, having outer body experiences. Different beings would start to come to me. I would start receiving all this information, and it was just quite a hectic time in my life.
So you started
yeah.
receiving a lot of different energy
Yeah.
streams, and you just
I had
were
no
confused
idea.
by.
I had no idea.
So how did you figure out what was happening to you?
It took a long time.
So yeah, just so you actually started to investigate on your own.
I did, you know.
Okay.
And at first, you start going like on the internet and reading books,
Right.
and it's all fear, like
Sure, yeah, we live in a fear-based
aliens
society.
are
there's no
attacking
doubt.
us,
Right.
and you know we're being programmed by the government, like all this
Well,
weird
that's true,
stuff.
but
That's true, anyways, you know. But the messages that I was receiving was just all about you have to heal yourself. You
Mhm.
have to do this. You can't do this anymore because you need to be on this path now.
Right.
So it was a very, very positive message. And just, you know, kind of living in this world, in this reality, and then having yourself completely pulled out of it very
Mhm.
quickly, it's quite a shock because you get to see things from a completely different perspective. And the amount of control and the amount of things that are, you know, in our water, food, air,
We are poisoning our planet.
It's-
That is no doubt.
it's unbelievable the amount
Yeah.
of control that's actually in place, and we're so in it.
we are being controlled.
Yes, we are being controlled.
Who's controlling us, and why?
Now that's the $1 million question, right?
No, I heard this though.
Yeah.
I know I heard this, and this is in the context of Atlantis and everything like
Mhm.
that. And that is that the powers that be, whoever they are and wherever they come from, you know, in the grander scale, you know, everything is one. Everything is from God or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Even those guys, right? And part of the situation is that they're, you know, they have a role to play. And part of that role to play is providing the rest of us with a context in which to live out our lives and deal with issues and that sort of thing. And that they too understand that it's you know, tell me if you think differently, but you know, maybe we are getting to that point, and some call it the end of our collective childhood or whatever, where we are now we don't need leaders anymore. We don't need that elite to govern us, and we really are moving into a completely peer-to-peer environment, and they understand that. There might be some resistance.
I think that's a natural progression.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will happen. I mean, if you look at history, every civilization does fall, even if it's extremely advanced. But I do think that if it wasn't for all these things affecting us, we wouldn't have that drive to heal. We wouldn't have that drive to awaken or expand our minds, expand our consciousness.
Part of the challenge
something.
of doing it,
Yeah.
right? You need some traction.
Exactly. And, I started to receive all these messages, and like I said, it was all about healing and heal yourself, and, I became a healer. Like I studied energy medicine, and then I've been studying with different shamans for many years. And, after all that, it's like you learn all this form, you learn how to heal, you learn what healing is, and then after that, it's just you become it. There is no system. You become very, very formless, and everything just flows.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the information that I'm trying to bring to people, because we should be taught how to heal. We should be taught who we are right from birth. And the Egyptians knew all about it. If you go back and you look at all the statues from ancient Egypt, and they're all standing in very, very interesting postures. All right, and they're all holding these rods. And I know you have experience of these rods before with Alan, with the shungite.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll always see pharaohs or people and statues holding rods in their hands. And it always intrigued me. And I'm like, why is this like this? I started to do qigong, and I started to do body postures, and I really awakened and opened up my sensitivity to energy. So if I would stand in a posture, I can feel the energy go through my body, and if I would change my posture, the energy would shift. So
Really?
Wow. So when I saw the postures, it's like immediately I knew what they were doing. It was like they're just tuning their bodies to the universal frequencies, because they were all about that. So what I did was I went to the libraries, the internet, the museums, and I tried to document every statue that I could where they're holding rods in different postures or positions. And I think I got over 100 at least of just different statues and different postures. What I started to do was actually just stand like them.
Do the postures, right.
And the energy that was going through me was intense.
Well, for blood flow, for nervous system, everything. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's why we stretch and we do things for our body to, make that energy flow a little bit more. And it's interesting you talk about like the different postures. I've never really recognized it or realized it, but now that it's in my head, when I'm, at museums and stuff, I'm going to start looking for this and practice those postures too, just to see where, again, for your mindset, for your physical well-being, what the differences are.
Yeah, and something also really interesting that you'll find with the statues is that most of the statues, their hands will be cut off or chiseled out.
Right.
And they did this at the end of the civilization there, when the Romans and the other...
To get rid of the rods.
They burned all the documents. They tried to get rid of all the gods. They chiseled their faces out. But the statues, all they did with the statues was they cut their hands off or tried to chisel the rods out of their hands.
Oh, interesting.
So what did they not want us to know about these things? And, just by holding those rods, the energy potential in your body just increases and strengthens. It opens up your chakras. It grounds you. And it really does connect you with the energies of the earth, which is extremely healing to who we are.
That is so cool. Okay.
It is.
You know who I think did it? It was probably the Illuminati. They didn't want anybody else to know, and they still have that power today. And they're the ones that are running the world.
Yes, because knowledge is power.
Yes, absolutely. And we're a power-hungry society and an animal.
Yeah.
We are.
Can we try some postures and see if we feel the power?
Absolutely. Do you want to stand up? Actually,
well, whatever it takes.
We can do just a really, really simple one, and this one I love, and I get everybody to do.
Okay.
All you have to do is you take your right hand in a fist and you put it over your heart, and then your left hand in a fist and you just put it on your left leg here.
And just sit.
Just sit.
With our feet on the floor.
With your feet on the floor flat, and you'll see many statues like this. And what this does, this is actually called the balancer posture. You can feel it. See, it's when your body is attuned, your body has a very, very powerful consciousness. And once you start to activate the body consciousness, you just have to go into resonance or into a sacred geometry structure, which our body is. And our body immediately knows what to do. So right now, what we're doing is we're bringing our energy fields into balance, and we're also doing a healing on our emotional bodies, just by holding this posture.
It's really cool.
And you can do this like up to 2 to 5 minutes, and it's just so simple. And if you, I know I don't have a big picture here, but here is Sekhmet.
We're going to try to zoom in on that.
Let's see if you can zoom in on this.
Second. Well, she'll keep zooming, but you can tell us.
Well, either way.
Well, you can.
It's you can see she's sitting in a very unique posture, holding rods in this statue. And I was at the health show a couple years ago, and I was just learning about this. And I had a poster of Sekhmet like that, so I grabbed my rods and I just said, okay, I'm going to sit like Sekhmet because I have a good break. Mm-hmm. And I just sat like that. And I took my tongue and I put it out the roof of my mouth. And it's like immediately, it just felt like my body became this generator of energy. And it would just build. I would just feel these energies building. And then when I take my tongue off the roof of my mouth, I just feel everything drop.
Can I try that right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. With the rods?
This will go in.
I have immortality rings on. Will that affect it? I'm not joking. Okay. So the right hand goes down.
Yes.
Similar to what the last posture
yes,
was.
And
then
the left,
right
the left
just stays up in the air like
yes.
this.
And you can put your tongue on the roof of the mouth. But with my experience, it was building. I took my tongue off, and it was just like everything went away. And I said, okay, I'm just going to continue building. So I just stood there, and I was holding my tongue there, and it was building. And suddenly, it was like there was an explosion in my body. It was like so powerful, where it's like every part of my body shook, and it literally felt like a bomb went off in me. And I had to jump up and like put the rods down and shake my hands and go, okay, enough of that.
So it's drive later. This is crazy.
Yes. So there's a lot of power. There's a lot of power in this, and it's just our own body consciousness working. We're just allowing our body to do what it does. You know?
And do you find, like, with a lot of skeptics out there, that is it really a lot of your mind allowing you to believe at the same time? Or is it really a physical...
It's a physical
So why do,
thing.
like, skeptics might walk away and say, I didn't feel anything at all?
It takes time.
Okay, so, yeah.
When I started, and this is goes back 10 years ago, I started to do Qigong.
Right.
And I just believed in it because, I received messages on it, and I was kind of guided to go to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did all the postures. I didn't feel anything. I didn't
Right.
see anything, but I did it every single day.
But your mind was open to it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I did it every single day. And after about a year of doing Qigong, suddenly something happened where I could just feel energy. If I put my hands together,
Right.
it's exactly what I feel right now. It's when you take two north magnets
Mm-hmm.
and you try to put them together and you get that force.
The opposite.
That's what my hands feel like all the time right now.
Wow.
And it's just from awakening those energies by doing those work. And we are so blocked.
Well,
Our energies
again,
are
and that's
so
what I mean,
blocked.
from a mental and a physical
Yeah.
state. Like, a lot of people are, I like to keep physically fit, so there's lots of, like, again, stretching and what you eat and things like that.
Yes.
Now, and I know he was just in the middle of this, and how long, like 2 or 3 minutes we're going to do this? Because I just want to see when he releases his tongue if anything's going to happen.
I wouldn't do it for too long. I
Yeah.
know this is your first time doing it, but like I've been doing it for a long
Right.
time,
And
so
we
I'm
don't
very,
wanna hurt
very
him.
sensitive to it.
Okay, let your tongue go, buddy. Let's see what happens. Okay, I saw it with a release. How did that feel?
It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Now, are you gripping
try
really
it?
hard right now?
Am I holding this right, Jason?
You're holding it right.
No, you don't. You just have to hold it. You don't have to like
No,
grip
you
it or
just have
anything
to
like
hold
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gripping it too.
No,
tight.
you're not.
No.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it?
Sure. Absolutely.
Do you have to hold shungite? Is that what what did the Egyptians hold?
Well, they have actually found different cylinders. They actually have them in the museum in the UK.
Yeah, it's got to go
Yes,
down that much.
yes, you got
So
it.
It's like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like this.
yes,
And tongue up. And
Here, there's the model right there.
yeah.
Fantastic. That's me.
So they've actually found these cylinders, and they're like they're zinc and copper tubing, and inside they found magnetite, they found carbon, they found quartzes, they find all different types of stone from that area, because each stone carries a different frequency.
Could you make it out of organite? Could you make a
Organite.
rod out of organite?
You can,
Would that work?
yes. It'll be really buzzing.
Well, that's good. The more, the better.
Yeah. This is very gentle, and the reason that I use shungite and I teach people about shungite with these rods is that shungite has a very, very unique property that not a lot of stones have. Actually, it's almost very unique. It has a carbon-60 atom in it, which is the fullerenes, and it is electroconductive. It's one of the only natural stones that is electroconductive. And because our bodies are electroconductive, it really, really works with our energy fields. And because we're also carbon as well, so we really resonate with these frequencies. So it really helps us.
So what would be the difference between using, say, organite rods versus shungite rods?
Well, you can have any type of rods. I would just be careful with the combinations because you don't know how your body is going to react to them over a long period of time.
Wow. Okay.
It's like right now, I've been using the rods for about 5 years right now, 5 or 6 years, and I can't hold them too much. I can't hold them long. Before I could hold them for as long as I wanted. Now if I hold them for a minute or two, it's just too much. Like my hands are all buzzed and
Because you're dialed into it now.
I'm out of it.
Yeah.
So I try not to hold it too much.
I'm going to make some organite rods. Does it matter which one you hold in your
Yes.
hand?
So
Yes,
that has
the
to go
gray
left
one
hand.
is in the right.
This one?
No.
Yes.
Oh,
And-
really?
Yeah.
you
You
did
had
it
it
right.
right.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I had it the other way around, didn't I?
And the shungite's in the
Okay.
left. And it's just a yin and yang type
Oh,
of
what's
thing.
this stone then?
That is soapstone,
Oh, soapstone.
and it actually comes from a mine that's actually very close to the shungite. So they want to keep these two stones together.
Oh. So that just occurs naturally that
Occurs
they
naturally,
show. Okay.
yes.
Okay. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Continue, my friend.
All right, I'll show you
Well, let me ask one
Yeah,
quick question,
okay.
because you said you found over like 100 postures, right?
Yes.
Have they all been documented, or are you really kind of the only guy that's gone out and really found all of them? And which one is most beneficial to you? Did you find that they're all kind of the same, or is there one
I use them
posture
in
that you
different
think-
times because there's so
Okay.
many. So,
Right.
you know, if let's say I need to do a healing on my heart,
Mhm.
I do like the heart pulsar, which is
Okay.
like this, and then it opens up, and it's just like a different type of
So
posture.
all the postures have different names, correct?
They have different names,
Okay.
different meanings, and they do very, very different
All right.
things. One of the most interesting ones that I've found, and you will see statues of children. They're all with their finger on their chin here and their hand by their side. And you'll see, like I've seen like many, many statues of just children, like just standing like this or sitting like this. Yeah, I don't know if I can stand up. But like,
yeah,
they're
absolutely.
just like this.
Yeah.
You know, just simple things. They got their left foot forward. And it's a very, very simple, there you go. Just a simple thing. They're just standing like this. And when I started to do research into what this was, it's, as a child, this is called the spirit protector. And what this does is it calls in your guides, it connects you with your higher gifts, and it starts to awaken your meridian channels. So these children that were, you know, training to be the pharaoh, they were always standing like this because they were stimulating their higher mind to connect
Okay.
to their guides, to their higher gifts, so they could be awakened. So when they're at the pharaoh level, see, if pharaoh was open,
Right.
he was the channel of the universal energies, for his people, for his family, for everything. So there was training involved their entire lives in doing this stuff.
This is fascinating stuff. Can we talk a little bit about how it relates to biogeometry?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people have no idea what we're talking about. But if I can give a little introduction, Dr. Ibrahim Karim is the biggest, I guess, proponent of biogeometry, and recently worked to help design a house in Mississauga along biogeometry principles. He's also an architect, of course.
Yes.
And, but I understand that I know that's crazy.
No, it actually, it's...
But the design of the house actually cleaned a stream that ran by the house, which
Absolutely.
is a phenomenally weird thing to think about.
There's something very important about geometry that we're just starting to understand. Okay, have you heard of Cymatics?
Yes.
Okay, so you take like a frequency, and you put like a plate over the speaker, and you put sand on it, and that frequency will create geometry. Right. And what you have to understand is that not only does frequency create geometry, but geometry creates frequency.
Oh, yin-yang.
There's no difference.
Okay.
They're just different sides of the same coin. So let's say if you're looking at something as obvious as the pyramid, the dimensions, the scale, the size, the materials used, and even the cavities in the pyramid relate to different frequency and frequency ranges. All right? So I know there's a lot of research on the pyramids, but they're just starting to even understand how this all works. Even the area that the pyramids are built in, it's a very important area. It's not just the pyramid.
Yeah, it's not just
we've
got some land here and we're going to build a pyramid. It was all specific and
very,
precise
very
as to where it was lined up.
Okay, now I have a question for you,
Sure.
Jason. Okay, so I understand the Stonehenge was actually the control panel for the pyramids.
I haven't heard that.
No? Oh, okay.
I haven't heard that.
Then the next part of my question is
No,
probably...
but-
it's going to be moot, but...
But I have to agree with you that they're all related. They're
Yeah.
all placed on very, very specific points on the planet. And it's the same geometry structures.
No, because what I heard then was that Dick Cheney and Tony Blair were trying to retake control of the pyramids by building the Millennium Dome in London, which actually has HARP technology.
I haven't heard this.
Okay.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
Okay.
I would believe that.
Okay. And now they're building one in Vancouver.
Not Cheney and...
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
the architects of the evil
new,
empire.
Whatever the stadium that they're revamping.
Yes.
It's got the same kind of HARP antenna structures as the Millennium Dome in London.
Interesting.
Dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Dangerous stuff. But going back to the geometry of these things, when I started to do these healings on people, and I work a lot with healers. Like, that's my main clientele. I work a lot with healers and different psychics and channelers. I think they are the group of people that really need the healing the most, because they're out helping people all the time. So they really
need... It's a drain, yeah.
It's absolutely a drain. So they come to me, and I do a lot of work on those type of clients. But they would see geometries in my energetic field. They would see me placing frequencies and geometries in their body, and they'd feel relief. And they would always tell me the same thing, like, what are you doing? Because, like, we see you putting these codes, these energetic geometry codes in our bodies. Like, what are you doing? And I was just doing it naturally. I wasn't thinking about it. It's just who I am and what I do. So I started to really think about it, and when I started to get information on these codes, I tried to get them from an etheric, which people can't see, to something physical that people can see. So I put together this healing book called the Yosef Codes. And
just a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
I'll try to zoom in on it again, maybe.
But what I do is we tune geometries to different frequencies of consciousness to assist in healing. So for example, this one is the root chakra. So this geometry is in resonance with a healed version of a root chakra, healed consciousness of a root chakra. But so going into resonance with the geometry, this will go and activate the root chakra. And it goes through all different codes.
So how do you activate it, or how do you bring your chakras into resonance with those
You just
geometries?
have, just like a mandala, like from Tibet, you can meditate on it. You can put it on your body. You can put your water on it and get the frequencies in the water. And I've created something that's very new. I'll just show you guys this. It's kind of small. I don't know if you guys can see this. But
Yeah.
Can we zoom in on that, maybe? Just.
well, you can zoom in on my cell phone.
Oh, you got it on the back of your cell.
Oh, there it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
And my cell phone, I've been putting every product I could find on my cell phone because I'm extremely sensitive to these frequencies.
Frequencies, yeah.
I can't hold the cell phone near my head. I get shooting pains, ears are burning, can't even hold it on my body. So what I do is I'd put, at first I put the shungite on there, which does help.
Mhm.
Shungite actually does take radiation away. It's a proven science. And what I did was I added these sacred geometry signature codes,
Mm-hmm.
which is just, it sends out frequency, so it changes the frequency of the information coming into you. So the waves of a cell phone is extremely chaotic, and that's why it affects us in a very bad way. But if we can take those frequencies and make them bioavailable to us, then
We
they
can
won't.
actually make them beneficial.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that was my attempt of doing this. And this is years of work in trying to figure out how sacred geometry, how frequencies can do that. And there's also a new one that I literally picked up yesterday. So this is new stuff. It's a card for sacred space. It's actually designed with the sacred proportions of the different pyramids, with the codes and sacred geometry. I know. And what this does, it's supposed to clear space, create a sacred space, and ground you back into the earth, because it has those mathematical frequencies encoded right into the scale, the size, and everything in there.
So what would you do with this? Like, okay, so here it is. It's a little bit bigger than a business card. I don't know if we can see it, but
Yeah.
like, how would you actually apply? How would you use this?
Well, like I said, I just got it a couple days ago. Right now, I've just been holding it in my wallet. I have it on me all the time. I actually designed it for a healer friend of mine who just moved into a condo. And she was saying that the transition from like being on the ground to being in a condo is really bad on her energy, and she can't feel the ground, and it's driving her nuts. So can I please help her and design something for her? So I designed this for her, and I sent it over to her, and she put it on her walls. And she's saying it's night and day. She can like literally feel the heartbeat of the earth on where she is in her condo. So she says, make more of these. We got to get them to people because it really, really does help ground people and heal space.
And not to sound glibber, is like there's a range on these things. I mean, if you can like put it in your condo,
Yes.
and it. Now, what does that do for you personally when it's just like, I thought maybe you just like carry these?
Yeah,
or,
you can carry it too.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's also good for spaces.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, this is very, very new technology. And it's
What's
just,
it made out of? What is this?
It's actually it's a 3M vinyl with silver,
Okay.
and it's actually laser etched.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's
so you
laser
can
etched right
certainly
in here.
Feel
So
it.
this will last. It's flexible.
Yeah.
And I also have it in like a sticker version where you don't need it two sides. You can just take the sticker off and
Slap it
stick
on
it right
something.
on the wall or anywhere like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of time
Okay,
left,
that's
Jason.
fine.
We'd love to have you back, and we could spend all day with you. But
Sure.
we do have some bit more time. But
Okay.
what else have
Well-
you brought that you haven't spoken about that you'd like?
Let's
to
talk about the water.
Okay. The water is is very, very important because
Right.
what's in our
We're pretty much water.
we're water,
Yeah.
and what's in our water is not so good.
No,
We
it
have
isn't.
pharmaceuticals in our water, heavy metals in our water, chlorine, fluoride, aluminum, you name it.
Everything
it's in the water.
there. Yeah, we've got tons of carcinogens in our water too. You have a product that
I brought a product here.
scared
I don't
me.
have it to show you, but I did put it in my water. It's called Adya Clarity.
Adya Clarity.
And you can look it up on the web. They have
Right.
amazing videos on YouTube of this stuff. And what it does is it actually collects and gathers the heavy metals and things that are in the water, solidifies it, makes it visible for your eye to see, and drops it to the bottom. Now, if you were to purify your water, you can use this to actually purify your water, where you take a jug of water, you put the stuff in there, and if you leave it a day or two, you will see, like at the bottom, it looks
The
like
heavy metals
someone blew their nose at the bottom of
Nice.
the glass. It's really gross.
Charming.
Yeah.
And then what do you do? Then you'd have to just strain it out,
You just drain it out or
Yeah.
take the stuff off the top. But the stuff off the top is purified water.
Ah,
And it really takes all that stuff out. But you have to think of your body.
yeah.
Your body holds onto that in its cells, in its fatty tissues, in its
Right.
organs, and the brain especially. Your body will collect these metals and these things over time. So just by even drinking purified water and adding this stuff to it, you're pulling these things out of your body. You're chelating your body of heavy metals and toxins, and even decalcifying your body, which is a big problem in our society right now, is overcalcification of the organs. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else you want to let us know about briefly?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
For today.
For today.
So,
yeah. There's still a whole lot more, and I
Oh,
could
absolutely.
spend.
We could spend a whole day on
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
So now, are you in the business of selling these books or
Yes.
this technology and that sort of thing?
If you go to my website, www.thecrystalsun.com, you can buy any of these products, the Egyptian Postures of Power book and DVD. And the DVD actually, it's me going over the moves, so you can watch me do it. It's a very powerful system called the Salute to the Sun, which is on that DVD.
Right.
The Yosef codes, which is the sacred geometry codes of healing. I also have the Yosef codes, exactly the same thing, but in a deck of cards.
Okay.
So you have a little deck of cards there. And what else do we have? We have the EMF stuff for the phones, the EMF stickers for the phones. We have the Sacred Space cards that we can hold on and put it on. And I didn't mention this, and I won't go too long. I have Smudge Mist, which where I work, I'm not allowed to use an actual smudge to smoke, and a smudge is
Right.
like, clean
Yeah,
the
yeah,
energies.
yeah.
So this is a smokeless one. It has Palo Santo, cedarwood, sage, frankincense, and it's in shungite gem elixirs with different quartzes. So it's a powerful spray. And then I have golden temple essence, which is an essential oil with grapeseed oil that was used in the actual temples for the pharaohs and the high priest to anoint the people, anoint the pharaohs, anoint the chakras. And, I'd say it's like a chakra oil because it really does open up and clear and like amplify our own personal energies. And it has myrrh, cassia, and jasmine in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Sure.
Before you go, this is amazing. You mentioned the sun is different now than it used to be.
Yes.
What's the difference, and what's happening now? Is it going to change again?
Yes, right now we're actually going through a solar cycle, which is actually coming up to 2012, and the sun actually does change. It's just like kind of like a heartbeat, or
Sure,
someone's
absolutely.
growing.
It's
So
aging.
there's these different cycles that it goes through, and we're entering into this new sun after 2012. We don't really know what's going to happen. Like I said, I don't think we're going to be raptured. Or
No,
anything
I don't think
like
so
that.
either.
We're just going to expand and change our consciousness and
Yeah.
how we see things.
Right.
Are we protected as a human race from complete disaster?
No, we're absolutely
No.
not protected. And I have these conversations with people all the time, and they're like, "Well, yeah, I hope a spaceship comes down and takes me away." And the truth is, the only way you're getting off this planet is in a cardboard box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be cardboard.
Well, cardboard,
I'm just saying.
it could be a nicer box.
Sure.
Okay.
That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back. Maybe.
I'd
Yeah,
love to
Jason,
come
that
back.
was enlightening. It
So
was a
this
lot of
is,
fun.
Really
Yeah.
amazing. What was that one posture again? The first one that you can do with
Oh.
the rods. The
It's right hand on the heart and the left hand on
leg.
the leg. Yes.
and your feet.
Or just flat on the
sitting
ground. Yeah, you're just sitting.
Like a pharaoh.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Very
Jason,
good.
this is awesome. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming
Thank
in.
you for having me.
TheCrystalSun.com, right?
Crystalsun.com. Yes.
Okay, let's take a little break and then we'll come back with Kazam right after this as Liquid Lunch continues.
Hi, I'm Jason Quitt from thecrystalsun.com, author of The Egyptian Postures of Power and the Yosef Codes. If you're interested in alternative healing, energy work, spiritualism, or ancient wisdom, then check out www.thecrystalsun.com for many different tools, teachings, workshops, and healing techniques to assist you on your journey.